right, we're sitting here with the great and powerful Justin Chesser, the ever elusive Justin, aka Mayor Cheese.
Mayor Cheese. That's probably the most accurate right there.
Yeah. So if you want to introduce yourself real quick, what you do,
Yeah.
what you got going on.
Yep. So basically, I'm the captain of Fake It Till You Make It gang. My name's Justin. Right here, local, next to where Kyle's at, and I own a lawn care company, and we do lawn care, landscaping. I have a couple other companies that I started on the side over the years, stuff like that.
Bring that like over here, probably. I feel like I'm getting you in line.
Test. That's better. Okay. And the lawn care is probably the longest running. It is the longest running company that I've had, and lots of ups and downs, of course, and everything like that. But it's nothing that I went to school for, nothing that I planned for. So that's why I kind of make a joke about, you got to fake it till you make it. So I wouldn't say that I've made it, but I would say that I'm in a very good place, and I've been very happy and comfortable. And let's maintain that, and that it'll be a good life,
So how long? So I met you three seasons ago, maybe 4.
I was gonna say 4 or 5 years ago.
Really? Okay.
It's been a hot minute.
How long have you been cutting grass?
I miss you.
I know.
How long? I'm 34 now. I bought a Silver Craftsman riding mower, 42-inch, when I was 13. It was from my dad's friend. I still can. I can pull it up online and show the exact model. Like it's stuck in it's burned in my memory. I was 13, and I cut Dad's yard and 2 other neighbor yards, and every summer since then, I've been in lawn care in some form or fashion. Of course, in the beginning, when you're younger, it's hard. Mom and Dad got to drive you around and stuff like that. When I got my license, I picked up a big account. That was my church right there on Main Street. It was a 13-acre complex, and we did a lot. My little brother helped me out quite a bit. Did that for multiple years until I went to college. Let my little brother kind of have that account, and even through college, I was still doing so I joined a fraternity in college, right? And we had a fraternity room, meeting room, stuff like that. And inside that room was like a small closet. Well, I asked, and I was given permission. I kept a blower and a weed eater and just miscellaneous hand tools and stuff. So on our free time, I would take whoever was available, and we would go just canvass the neighborhoods around college, like, hey, you want us to blow your leaves or prune your bushes or anything like that. Didn't cut as much grass in those 2-3 years of doing that. We had a couple yards, and I would even come back to Troy and do a couple yards. But other than that, it just kind of snowballed into I was working at GM, and I had probably 30 to 40 yards that I was doing by myself, and then I had a buddy help me. I was paying him $5 a yard to trim and blow. Man, those were the days. If you're out there and you want to do that, I got a job for you, buddy. But we did that for a couple seasons, and it gave me a better taste for the money and business and stuff like that. So did that for a few years, and then I decided that I either need to slow down, like drop some yards, or I needed to hire full-time employees. And then I hired my very first hire was, I think, Kenny Bruning was his name, I think, and he lasted 3 weeks. And after that's when I found Tyler Dozy. Mm-hmm. And so then Tyler was with me for 5 years, I think. And then during Tyler's final years is kind of when you came on, and that's when we had the whole squad. Those are probably some of my most fun and best years. Still was small. I'm still young and dumb, but I was younger and dumber back then, and so it was a good time. And since then, I've gotten up to the max was 13 employees. That was too much of a headache, and that was when I was still at GM too. So I'm driving around GM, big factory, on a fork truck, against the rules, running the company from my phone, And when you were here, that's when it was. I was in GM and everything else, so I was completely absent. Since then, I'd say 4 years ago, I left GM, and now I do this full time along with the other companies and stuff like that. And I think I found my sweet spot is between 6 and 8 employees. So 3 to 4 guys doing a commercial and a residential route each day of the week, and then 1 or 2 landscape crews, pruning, mulch, rock, easy peasy stuff. We don't do any hardscapes.
Yeah, it's a pain. So like 6 to 8. I mean, I guess that gives you a little bit of room for like, in case somebody doesn't show up, somebody calls off, you can pull
Right.
somebody from here to work over
Yep.
there.
So everybody knows, like when I bring them in and everything, so everybody knows that grass is priority. I mean, unless we're in like the middle of a big job that has a deadline or it's a crazy big job or something. But whenever we have breakdowns or rain or whatever, the landscape guys know that they can be pulled and do the grass. Now there's a rare occasion, like I said, on like a big landscape job, we need to get it done before the weather or whatever, or if I need the money faster,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I'll pull some grass guys if we're in a good spot. But how it's been running the last 2-3 years, and especially this year, is 3 guys will pretty much handle all of our grass Monday through Thursday. We average right around 250 yards a week. So
That's great.
route density. That's the route density is key. You got to have. I was chasing yards from here all the way up to Bowling Green, all the way down to like Defiance area, and then again, fake it till you make it. I just learned the lessons. Trucks would break down, and then you got to tow them that far. They run out of gas or string, and what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? So right now, we operate everything just Troy and Moscow. We go out a little bit further to like Wright City and Winfield area, but that we at least have a solid route built out there and built back. So
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. So I've worked for, I don't know, 4 or 5 lawn guys at this point, and the 2 probably, I don't want to say most successful, but at least in terms of route density, like that's a huge factor because you're cutting out, dude, drive time.
Yeah.
You got 2 guys sitting in a truck, not cutting any grass, not making you any money.
it's rough.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. And a lot of people don't, like you said, they just pick whatever. Oh, I got a house out here, I got a house out here, I got a house over here.
Right.
It's just not efficient.
I think, I mean, and that comes with time. Like, if you're the guy that like you do 2 years of research on before you start your lawn care business, and like you watch all these YouTube videos and like you talk to all the other owners and stuff like that, you can come out of the gate with a dense route, the right equipment, the right policies, processes, things in place, all your paperwork, contracts, employee handbooks, doesn't matter. You can do that. But 9 times out of 10, lawn care is literally somebody, a kid like me wanting to just make some side money and turns it into a business, or somebody just wants a side hustle or something. And then, I guess luck is the most thing, right? Luck and God. And so if you're lucky, and then, with God's blessings, you can grow pretty quickly, even though you don't really know exactly what you're doing. Because let's be honest, it wasn't until probably 2, 3, even 4 years ago when I felt comfortable in like what I was doing and why I was doing it. Up until then, it was literally flying by the seat of my pants. Like, I hope this works out.
See, that's what, I mean, I got lucky. Honestly, working with you, I got lucky because I got to see all the things that you did, and then going here, and then going there, and then going here.
Right.
I got to pick and, who does
Yes.
what well, and
Yes.
then what they're not doing good. I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yep.
let's stay away from
Yep.
that.
You-
But even like starting out, I thought about, okay, advertising or whatever, and to avoid that whole, drive time debacle where you pick up a yard here, like in my scenario where I know 4 guys, I can say, hey, is there any way while I'm building these accounts, can I sub them out to you? You got a yard over here, just hold this one for me until I build up some more. And then when I got it all, whenever I want to, 15 yards, 20 yards, whatever, where it's
Right.
worth driving somewhere.
That, or like we have a referral list, and so like if it's a yard out of our area, we'll just refer it out. But like what you said is subbing out, like, and honestly, that was my biggest goal when I created the Lawn Care Professional Network for St. Louis. I wanted to have an interactive map on our website, and for the most part, it worked. The website builder did mostly what I wanted to do. It wasn't perfect, but it worked out okay. And basically, anywhere in the St. Louis area, you click on a map where you live, and then the top choices for that was in our network would come up, and then you would have like 3 or 4 prime options, right? And then if you didn't like those options, there were still others that's not in your area but still would service your area. So there's I think it's not because I'm cocky, but I always tell people that like, I don't see other people's competition, like bigger, smaller, doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. I just don't see people's competition, and it's not because I'm cocky, it's because I see them as a network. Like, we're all working towards the same goal, right? So let's pull in the same direction, work together, we can all eat better, And that's the difference between even with landscape stuff, right? Like with Jared Himmel and a couple of the other guys and stuff like that, we don't do hardscape. So we'll sell a big $30,000-$40,000 landscape that has some hardscape aspects to it, and we just use them as a subcontractor instead of just trying to fake that.
Right.
You can't really fake building a wall,
Exactly.
So it is the key. I think is definitely networking. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people that are like, I guess, famine mentality. But there's one guy, one company, like you said, you like to stay in the 6 to 8 employees. So like you're kind of, I would say, maybe not at your threshold, but I don't know how much bigger you want to get. So it's like only one guy, one person can take on so much, whether it's landscape,
Right.
whether it's lawns. So to have guys that you can refer to, and then the thing that I focus on, and I mean, I guess that's what makes me, again, I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm good at cutting grass.
Right.
It's not that I love to cut grass. It's just that my mindset is quality. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm
Exactly.
cutting grass or, whatever.
For as long as I've known you, no matter what you do, it's always turned to gold,
Yeah.
right? So like cutting grass, like honest to God, and I'm not just saying this just because I'm on your podcast, right? but seriously, like honest to God, one of the top 5 employees that I've ever had. Like your attitude, but the quality of your work. I mean, you were the whole package.
Yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
come back.
That's right. I know, right? Dude, I don't like cutting grass. Honestly, like I
know.
do it. Like Dylan's got these apartments, dude. We were there for 6 hours with 5 guys. When you do that type of shit, it like makes me remember like, oh yeah, I don't really enjoy doing this. It's like I kind of just do it,
Yep.
and I'm good at it. So it's like I kind of default back to it because that's just what I know how to do.
Well,
So-
and you're good at it, and it's always easy, especially within your situation. So many of us lawn care guys, like you want some extra money, you want to save up for a vacation, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can just pick up some extra hours somewhere. Like those utility guys like you, is what helps the other owners in the area, because like if I'm ever in a pinch, I know that I can call you. I know that I can call Tyler. I know that I can call Darren.
Yeah.
Like they all do their own things, have their own jobs, but like if I was in a real pinch, like hey guys, I know everybody would come together.
Right, we're a bunch of independent contractors out here cutting grass.
Right.
I literally thought it because I'm on Facebook all the time and I have all these lawn guys on there and everybody is complaining about employees.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like at this point, like we're kind of the commodity. Like, so
I would definitely say that of every headache and stress and pain point, labor is the top bottleneck of almost any business, but especially with lawn care and stuff. I mean, they start out good, then they get comfortable, then they start slacking off, and then at that point, it's hot, and so the burnout, it's real, and so you're lucky if most guys will last a full season.
yeah, but okay, I mean, I don't know, I haven't been here in a while, but from what I know is you don't really run your guys like super hard, do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like in 40 to 45 hours a week for each
Yeah.
guy is and then like so Alex actually his 5-year anniversary is coming up pretty soon. So he's been with me 5 years now, and he likes having his Fridays off. So he does everything that he can, and he comes in Monday morning, and his goal is to not have to work Friday. He'll work a Friday if we're behind because of rain or breakdowns, but I would say majority of the time the guy gets his Fridays off, and that doesn't bother me. I don't care, I don't look at that and be like, oh man, I could sell another 20 yards and have more. No, he's happy. Leave him be. Let him go. It doesn't impact me. I don't need more. So why not? I think as long you got to have the right, I guess, team morale, right? Like you got to build the right aspects and the different things, and taking the guys out to Topgolf, taking them to the gun range. Everybody makes jokes about pizza parties and stuff. I mean, oh yeah, pizza party, like, no, I would rather have a bonus or something. But honestly, yes, they would rather have some cash in some instances. But I think it's a thought, right? Like, hey, the boss actually does love us. He actually does care us. We're not just an employee number. We're not just making him money. And that's what I've always kind of maintained for the last, I'd say, 8 to 10 years is I am very comfortable. I'm not wealthy. I'm not rich. I don't have any aspirations to have much more or anything different than what I have. But things are nice, and why rock the boat?
Right.
So as long as I can maintain my comfortability. So the big thing now with all the guys is trying to get them to where they understand the importance of being more efficient. They're more efficient. Now they're making the company more money. Now the company can give them more raises and bonuses and everything else. So they're all paid well, and then we're one of the only companies that actually offer benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got dental, we got the retirement plan, the vision, and I haven't done health yet, but there's that local doctor office that we're kind of working on trying to figure out some sort of a plan for them. So, you know, if it's more of a career, and you're happy and you like the people that you work with, and you get a pizza party here and there, hopefully they'll stay around.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from a not only small business but lawn care perspective, there's not many companies, or I mean, any that I know of. I went to land design. I mean, they're offering shit like that, but it's land design.
Right.
So it's like, that's something. You know?
And that's the thing. It's, you know, the benefits aren't anything like what you would get if you worked for like General Motors or somewhere like that. But just, I think more so the fact that like the company owner cares enough to try to make it work. And like, I mean, I've offered a retirement plan for the last 6-7 years or so. I've had 2 guys actually take advantage of it. It's totally up to them. It doesn't matter. But I mean, it's a company matched program and everything through Edward Jones. So if they wanted to take advantage of that, it's there for them to do. But if they want all their money on their checks and it's theirs, I don't care how they have it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. The thing you were talking about with morale, and I've noticed a lot of guys that I've worked for, is kind of, they'll just take shit on. Like, they don't care because they're not personally out there cutting the accounts.
Right.
And they don't realize that, like, that's taxing on your guys' mental.
Yes.
Because it's like, they don't want to go every single week after week after week. They have to go to this shitty account, whatever it is. You know, maybe it takes forever, or there's a bunch of shit in the yard, or whatever it is.
Yes.
But like, I know, I'm not going to mention any names, but I know some people that will literally take on whatever, and their response is like, I don't care, I don't got to cut it.
Right.
But it's like, that's only going to get you so far until your guys
Yeah.
are fed up with it, and they're like, all right, fucking see you later, bud. Like,
I would say, from my perspective, I feel like I've been pretty fair about that. We have actually dropped a few customers over the years because the guys would call and they'd be like, hey man, like the hill in the back is stupid. Like this is ridiculous, it's dangerous. Or, you know, a few years ago, we started charging extra if there's excess dog waste. Like I get it if there's some here and there, but every single week and you got 15 dogs and you don't even make an attempt, like we're charging you extra, right? Like, and we always joke around with the guys like, oh, you get hazard pay on that yard, you know? So like I think you got to be kind of receptive and listen. And yeah, I don't go out and I haven't gone out and cut grass. And I mean, if we're behind, I'll go dust off the work boots and everything. But I mean, and I still like cutting grass and I miss it. But it's kind of productive. If I'm out there cutting grass, like, and I respect all the owners that like get out there and do that every day, even with a bigger size company. That's great. But they also they would have to have more office staff. I had one office admin, and she's amazing. She takes care of everything, back office and stuff like that. And she probably would be able to allow me to get out there and cut the grass, but then now I can't go and make the sales calls, can't do the quotes, can't do the running, get the equipment and all the different stuff. So you kind of got to figure out a good balance there. But back to what you're saying, you got to have, you know, an open ear to your guys, you know. And not all money is good money.
right, yeah. No, I remember you always saying that.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty wise with what you're doing, because you just be spinning your wheels in the rut and don't even realize it until too late, and you're like, oh my gosh, all that wasted time.
Or even like if you get an account or you get whatever, let's say you get, let's use the urgent cares for example.
Right.
Let's say you get 15 urgent cares, they pay, you know, $50 a piece, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a good deal. Okay, but then again, how far apart are they? How far do you got to drive for each one?
Yeah.
It might sound like at the end of the day you're getting $1,000 on these urgent cares that you're cutting, and your guys are getting it done in a day. But how much profit are you making? How much wear and tear are you doing on your vehicles, on your mowers?
That's the biggest thing with a lot of people. They just don't realize, you know, what their actual profit margin is, what their actual numbers are. And to be honest, I didn't really know a lot of my stuff until probably the last 2-3 years. I mean, I actually had a legitimate insured business and like, oh, I'm making money.
Oh, I remember back in the day where Jamie would be like, yo, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
My bakery's making more money than the grass.
Yes.
What's going on?
She'll be like looking around and she'll be like, what's the deal? Like, where's all the money going? But, you know, like, you know, okay, so my gun collection is very robust,
Right.
Okay, but even still, like, so I think, and actually, I'm excited. I actually just got, for the very first time, we're going to have an actual bookkeeper. We're going to have weekly meetings, go over all this, and everything else, just to know exactly where I'm at. I think that's just a wise thing to do. And even if I don't do it forever, every year from now on, at least to have a good idea. I feel like I got a pretty good handle on the business, and like I know that we're profitable, because if we're not, we'd be in a rough spot, But you asked me how profitable I am. I could do some checking and figuring and everything, but I want to be able to, like, when my wife asks me, like, hey, did you have a good week or not? Pull up a screen and be like, we absolutely did, or we had a little bit of extra labor this week for whatever reason, so maybe not. So but everything goes full circle, because not just that, like your pricing, everything, your breakdowns, the equipment that you're using, so everything goes hand in hand anyway.
I feel like you're saying, even if you get it just for a little bit, and then you're a smart guy, so you figure out how it's working, then you can at least understand and be able to tell yourself, or you just know from looking at it week to week, okay, this is typically what we do, boom, boom. You got at least an idea.
Right.
And I feel like the more structured, this is the thing too, especially with lawn care, because like you said, a lot of these guys, they act like it's a side hustle. They don't treat it as it's a legitimate business.
Right.
And the more organized you are, the better everything is going to run.
Oh man, I would say probably when we started really hammering out policies, processes, everything top to bottom, who does what, how, what we need to take to every job. You're more organized, you're more efficient, stuff like that. I would say that's where we started seeing a lot more of our better profit margins, instead of, like you said, some guy treats it as a side hustle. When I was cutting with my buddy after work, I thought I was really rich. I $25 every yard. They'd leave the cash under the doormat. I'd walk in the door every night with a couple $100, and man, I was really doing it. I had no idea how much labor was costing me over the week. I had no idea how much I was spending in fuel in a week, how much wasted time driving everywhere. So it was good. It was enough to give me a taste, and then I'm like, oh, give me more, And then finally, I'm like, well, we need to see exactly kind of where we're at. So I'm excited for the new bookkeeper for sure.
Yeah. And I keep trying to put people on, you got that virtual assistant, and I'm like, listen, dude, I don't know exactly what she does for Justin. I'm like, but I know she helps him out tremendously.
Okay, so there's different levels of virtual assistants, and before I found her, I was actually doing some research, figuring it out. A lot of them are, a virtual assistant honestly can be anywhere, and it happens that mine actually lives in Troy,
right.
And actually I worked with her husband at GM, and we didn't know this until after I'd already hired her. Small world after all,
It really is.
So, but when I was doing this research, there's a lot of them overseas and everything. Not knocking them, not being bad or rude or anything like that, but also, how am I going to have them answer the phone? That's one of the key things I needed done. And how is the customer going to be able to understand them, or know that they're even talking to a local lawn service? They're not going to know anything about the grass, stuff like that. So anyways, I went through doing the research, trying to figure all this out and everything. And I was like, I had an idea who I wanted to hire, and I don't even remember who put me onto her. Whoever it was, thank you very much. It was awesome. But no, her name's Kristen. She owns Simplified Services, and she's built a team now of other VAs, and she handles quite a few other lawn care guys as well. But honestly, I could disappear for a month, and between her and my main guys running the day-to-day stuff, I could be gone for a month or two, and I would come back and it wouldn't be fully burnt down. There probably would be a lack of sales and stuff like that. But she does all the quotes. She takes care of all the incoming emails, phone calls. I don't have her do anything with social media just because I'm always on there, so it makes sense for me to still do that. But she does our invoicing at the end of every day for our residential customers. She does the invoicing for at the end of every month for our commercial customers. She'll put together all the quotes. She'll schedule all my quotes. I always make a joke now. I'm not even in control of my life day to day. I literally have to check my calendar to plan something out, but I don't add anything to my calendar. Kristen does all that. So I'll wake up one morning, I'll go to sleep one night and I'll look see what my next day is. There's not much on the calendar or whatever. Something come through in the evening or the night or whatever, and she's got me a full day booked of sales and quotes. I'm like, holy crap, well, there goes my day's plans, but money, so gonna go do that. But no, she does a lot of, she custom tailors whatever it is that you want to do. She is more than capable. With her being as organized as she is, that's what I needed, because we both know that I'm horribly not organized.
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to like scheduling, like you're saying, calendar and stuff like that, even just recently, so we bought just a little simple thing that goes on the fridge, and now we calendar everything out. We just started doing this, and I mean, it's helped tremendously. Like, if I got to go to work in the morning, I'll say, hey, do you got anything you got going on today, or whatever. If I got an appointment, or dude, people don't again, it comes back to the organization thing. How can you be in control of anything if you're just like going with the flow every single day? Whatever happens, I'm just winging it.
Well, and that's what my biggest struggle was when I went, because up until the point that I left GM 4 years ago, I have always had another job, or even sometimes two at a time. I've enjoyed money. So working wasn't ever a problem. Staying busy was never a problem. Well, when I left GM and I was just running this company, and it was before I started all my other little companies and little ventures and fun things and stuff like that, I wasted, I'll be honest, 3, 4, 5 months I played more Xbox in that amount of time than I did as a kid. I didn't answer to nobody except for my wife, but as long as you keep it hidden from her, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So having structure and being organized is definitely one of the most key things for any business owner. And so after
anyone.
It doesn't, personal, whatever, it doesn't matter. So finally, I kind of got out of my funk and realized, like, hey, you're wasting a lot of time. Like, you could be doing a lot more different things, making a better amount of money. So I finally kind of kicked myself in the butt and got to where I was more structured, and then did that for, several years, still kind of flailing. And then I think Kristen has been with me 2.5 years now. And I mean, it's been night and day difference. So she'll text me. Like, we're in contact every day. She'll text me multiple times. Sometimes we're at the point now in our work relationship, if you will, that she'll talk to me more than what my wife does throughout the day. But she'll keep me on task. Like, hey, did you get this done? Hey, what are you doing here? What happened with this quote? She doesn't just sit back and wait for me to go to her. She actually is every single day staying on top of things. She truly has been a blessing to the business for sure.
Yeah, it's like having an accountability partner.
It almost is. Like, if you've been like thinking about hiring an accountability partner, a coach, a consultant, whatever, if you don't really need all the things that they offer, I would say hire a VA. It'd be much cheaper. It'd be more profitable, as long as they're organized and they stay on top of you. But yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes she'll even call me out. She'll be like, hey, I haven't seen this quote come over. What are you doing? You playing PUBG? And so most of the time I'm not. Most of the time I'm busy doing something else that popped up, or I have to help out family, friends, whatever. But then there'll be sometimes she'll be like, "Hey, did you get all the things done on your calendar yesterday? Because that doesn't look like it." I'll be like, "No, I'm sorry." She'll be like, "Well, you're not doing nothing tomorrow until you get those done." Okay, boss, deal.
Yeah.
It works out well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's crazy good, dude. It really is.
I would strongly urge any business owner to definitely consider, even if you don't need like a full VA office admin to take care of everything, even if you just wanted somebody to keep you organized, like, she can do that, some of her team can do that, or other VAs can do that as well. Of course, I'm going to recommend her for sure.
Right.
But I mean, and in the beginning, before I started doing my research, I'm like, man, I just can't afford a secretary. I can't afford, and honestly, I really can't, because what it works out to is she works from home on her own time. She handles all of this different stuff, and she sets timers and schedules and different things throughout the day. So, like, it's not like she takes my company phone. Like, she has the actual company phone so she can answer the calls. But it's not like she takes that with her. It's not like glued to her all the time. So she has different parts of the day where she'll check the phone. Sometimes she'll take it with her, or she'll have something if it's going to be in the time that she works for me, stuff like that. But I mean, it's way more affordable than what I honestly thought. And so what it comes down to is I'm paying her essentially for 12, 13 hours of work worth a week, and she is more than fair on how she spreads it out. It's not like she does 13 hours Monday and Tuesday and then the rest of the week is nothing. She does very well at spreading it out and making sure everything is covered and stuff like that. You definitely want to vet your VA before you hire them, and you will run into some bad ones even if you vetted them. But I mean, as far as affordability, I mean, some of them even start at $15 an hour and up, depending on what you want them to do. But if you're going to just hire somebody like we were talking about for an accountability partner, you could find a VA out of the country, even if you needed to, 15, 20 bucks an hour, and you tell them, hey, I need you to stay on top of me for this, this, and this, and even then they'll just keep you on track. If nothing else, they just annoy the crap out of you, and you're like, I'm just paying them, wasting my money to get annoyed, and so you're going to do it or you're going to stop using them. So either way, it still forces you to take some form of action, whether you fire them or you do what they say, you know?
I think the most beneficial thing of it is, like you're saying, I feel like you're getting a lot of this from 4-Hour Work Week. Am I wrong or right? Like
The what?
the 4-Hour Work Week, like.
I guess
freeing. Have you ever read it?
You
You never read the 4-Hour Work Week?
That's one that I don't think that I've read. I don't.
Oh, dude.
I don't
Okay,
think
so you're like doing basically this. I mean, I've never like fully read the book. From what I understand, it's like basically automating most of what you do. But the best thing I would say about the assistant is like it's keeping you on track. But like you said earlier, it's allowing you to stay. I don't want to say hands off, but you're not as involved, and you have time to, go run sales or hang out with your family or go on vacation, and you don't have to worry about, is everything going to die?
Oh no, it is definitely added a lot more structure and given me a lot more work family balance, if that makes sense.
So like even value, like you said, I got to pay her X amount, but like what is your time worth?
Well, and that's the thing, like, do I have enough time to do what she does? Absolutely. Can I do what she does? Absolutely. I know how to do it. I'm the one that showed her how to do it and everything else. Am I going to do what she does consistently and up to par and stay on track and stay structured and organized? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's the value right there.
That's what I tell people. I am the captain of my ship, and I run a loose ship. Like,
we're a loose ship here too, buddy.
It's not good. But so, yeah. It's not good. You really need, I feel like that's just people who they got a lot going on in their head. So it's like, it's hard for them to just stay like focused on one thing. You find something, I was doing emails here a second ago, but then I saw something else. So it's like, I'm going to go do this, but I know I got to check voicemails. And
then there's a Facebook notification.
Yeah.
And then there's this video that you scroll by, this dude digging a pool in the middle of the jungle with a stick. And 20 minutes later, you finish your email. And it's, that is me to a T. I'm all over the place. Like, I've never been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. Buddy, I got all of that. I got all the letters. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Like, honestly, I'm curious. Is like how much of it is like ADD or ADHD or whatever, and it's like how much of it is this shit's boring and I don't want to do it.
Right.
Like, I'd rather do something that I want to do, like play PUBG because it's fun, or watch the guy dig a pool out in the jungle because it's interesting. It's like sending a work email is not enjoyable.
No.
Like so.
No, that email can wait. It doesn't need to wait. It shouldn't wait, but it's going to wait because I got my buddies on and it's time to run a match.
Yeah. So, man, I see. So I've known you for 4 or 5 years now, and I come here today. I haven't been here in a while, but you got all the chickens over there. You got all the when did this happen to where you were like? Because I know you've always been into guns and stuff, all that that type of stuff. But like, when did you start getting into the like homesteading type?
So I would place the blame on my lovely wife.
Okay.
And it works out with me and my firearm tactical gear, the training aspect, the prepping aspect, all that stuff. She mentioned that she was, a little bit bored. She wanted a couple animals here and there. I said, that's fine. What are we going to get? She's like, let's start with chickens. I said, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to tell you, chicken math is a real thing, okay? We went to the store. We bought 6 baby chicks. All the things to, raise them up, keep them alive. And we got egg layers. We're not messing with meat birds yet, but that's coming. So we walked out of the store with 6. I got outside the door at Rural King, and I walked back in. She calls me. She's like, where did you go? I said, I'm not doing all this work for 6 chicks. Half of them are going to die. We're going to end up with 3 chickens, and we're put all, we spent maybe a couple $100 on all the different things, right? And I was like, I'm not doing all this for that. So I'm getting 6 more. So then we started with 12, and then a week later, she brought home another 12. Then the next week, I think I showed up at the house. I found 8 that I really liked. And like, we're not buying just the basic chickens, right? These are like, I guess, more of the higher end chickens they're cool, they're fancy, they look neat, they got different colors or whatever. Anyway, this continued on over a 4 or 5, 6 week. on the way home from vacation, we were coming home from Nashville. We stopped somewhere, and she's like, "Oh, there's a Rural King there. Let's see if they got baby chicks." I'm like, "Babe, we're still like 6 hours from home." Those chickens did really well on a 6-hour road trip back home with us.
So you're buying is there anything different about like the fancier ones? Like do they make better eggs or like?
No. Well, I mean, so some of them will lay like green eggs or blue eggs. Majority of them are going to be brown eggs.
What's the difference? You know?
They're going to taste the same. The
okay.
color of the shell is really what it is. Some of them are going to be a little bit bigger. Some of them a little bit smaller. But I would say within a 4 or 5, 6 week period, we ended up, I think, 56 baby chicks. And we started in the bathroom downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Outgrew that. I had to build a bigger brooder and everything. And then we moved them to the garage. And then when they're old enough and that they got enough feathers, then you can move them outside. The very first trailer that I started the Lawncare company with came from my father-in-law, and that's the trailer that I built the chicken coop on out of pallets. So, used pallets, build the chicken coop, used the dog fence run panels for the outside run and everything, and then we get, I would say, close to 20, 25 eggs every day. Now over the winter we lost 12 different birds from possums, raccoons, stuff like that. Knock on wood, they haven't been back around. Those particular ones came by a very special dirt nap, but we haven't had any more come by yet. And then the little guys you saw running around free range out in the yard, we actually hatched those from our own chickens a couple months ago, and so they're coming up and getting older and bigger, and they'll be laying eggs probably within a couple months. And so I'd say we're back to around 45, well, whatever it ever said, 40,
38 or something.
38,
yeah.
48, something.
Yeah.
I lost count.
Yeah.
So yeah, chicken math's a real thing where you start with 6 and you end up with a bajillion.
I mean, I've been getting, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or like whatever, everything that's going on in the world, but it's like the more time goes on, the more I'm like, yeah, I just want to like get away from the city, get away from the people, have a little farm, have my chickens, get away from the processed shit.
Yep.
Like, I want to be in control of what I'm eating.
Exactly.
Really.
So it's the eggs. I like the eggs better. We've had a couple that actually I butchered my first chicken from start to finish last year. We just had kind of an unruly cock, and so we got rid of him and then fried him up pretty good. He was pretty good. And then other than that, well, meat birds are different. They're bred to be fully grown within 8 weeks, and then you butcher them, and a lot of people will, get them cleaned up and processed, put them in a freezer bag and freeze them. And I mean, you'll have a year's worth of chickens off of, 20, 30 chickens will last quite a while. We won't get into that just yet. The ducks that are out there, those are new. We get 1 egg a day from the ducks. And then the bunnies and everything. She's doing the bunnies for the kids, but mainly for her because she thinks they're cute and fun.
Yeah, they're adorable.
They are pretty adorable.
They're adorable.
They are.
I've been going back and forth since I've seen you post that thing. I'm like, dude, I want a bunny so bad, mainly because of the Penny. She loves rabbits. Like, she calls them hops. It's adorable. I'm like, how fucking cute would it be if I got her a little rabbit, and then she just had this rabbit with her like all the time.
Bro, they're right there, and honestly, I was trying to come up with something we could put on the table to keep them corralled and just have the little bunnies hop around on the table on the video. That would be hilarious. But no, we had talked about goats. She likes those mini cows.
Oh, those are adorable.
They are, but they're not. Everything we got has
a
purpose or a multi-purpose, if that makes sense. The mini cows, not so much. I mean,
they're just cute.
We'd have like maybe 1 steak and that's it.
Yeah.
They are cute. But we had talked about goats, for goat milk and stuff. And like, we're not, I wouldn't say that like we're on the extreme edge of like prepping and like homesteading and stuff like that. But it is a hobby still level, and it's enjoyable. It's a break from the monotony. And then, it still makes sense. We haven't bought eggs in 2.5 years.
Oh yeah.
It's been, I guess it's been 2 years. I've lost track of time. I couldn't tell you.
It's mostly what we
It's nice. Yeah.
Eggs.
But eggs will go with anything.
Yeah.
And with her having the bakery, she don't have to buy eggs there.
Oh,
that's
true.
nice.
True.
Yep. So like right now we ended up getting all the different equipment and stuff like that, and we actually have a dedicated refrigerator for the eggs. and I think at last count I'm sitting on right around 450 eggs.
Oh my god.
So if you want to buy some eggs before you leave,
Yeah.
I'll just send you with some.
I looked up something about goat. I seen it was goats. Goat meat is actually more nutritionally dense than beef.
Oh, I would.
And I'm like, it kind of like makes sense if you think about like way back. They probably definitely had goats before they had cows.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've never had goat before, but I mean, if it's nutritious, I would be willing to try it. Yeah. And they eat grass. They're like, they're like their natural lawnmower. Dude.
We've always joked about setting up fences for customers and letting goats. So all the people that want to go green on their lawn care, we got the solution for you.
There you go, little goat.
Get them the fainting goat, so when they pull in the driveway and shut the door door, and just fall over.
I never heard of a fainting goat until I was working up at Buffalo, and this girl's like, I said something about goats, and she's like, oh, you want like a fainting goat? And I'm like, what is that? And she's like, pull up a video. And I'm like, what? Why? Evolutionarily, like, why does this exist?
I guess it's almost like a possum. It's like or even a turtle, or it's just their defense mechanism,
Dude.
you know, just like play dead. Or like an ostrich putting his head in the sand thinking that it's, safe because I can't see you, you can't see me.
Dude, some of them were like bad. I was like, oh my god, like how is it, dude? They're just straight full run and then boom, and just start sliding. I'm like, that does not seem safe.
The bad ones are the ones where the fainting goats get up and they're climbing up on different buildings and they get scared and fall off the building.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. Oh man. So I mean, are you guys gonna stay here forever?
No. I like it. The shop is nice for the lawn care company. We like the house. If I could buy part of the neighbor's field at some point, I would do that, and then we'd stay here forever. But we're at the point where we're probably within 2-3 years away. We need 5 to 10 acres.
Yeah.
I don't need a huge farm. We don't need to expand operations on all that stuff and everything. But just to have more room, and as the kids get older and playing outside and stuff like that, it's a nice spot. We like it. It's nice because we're just outside city limits where I can shoot my guns without having issues. But we're also close enough where if I need milk, it's just literally 3 minutes down the road. So.
Right. So I mean, okay, if you get a farm or if you get 5 to 10 acres, are you gonna go like bigger in terms of like more animals, cows, pigs?
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Yeah,
I'm sure we will.
Do the whole deal.
Yeah, probably.
Vegetable garden.
Yeah, we got 2 gardens over here across the driveway. The greenhouse that I built, she's gonna use that and do all of her own everything. Started from seed and whatnot. The greenhouse is almost done. I got maybe one more Saturday worth of work on it, and then it'll be buttoned up and ready. But what I like about the greenhouse is because of how we're doing it with the slanted roof, the gutters, and then I'm gonna have a rain collection system. And so, one, for watering the garden and everything.
You better slow down. The feds are going to be coming over here collecting rainwater over here, dude.
I know. The alphabet boys are going to be knocking at my door again. That's just part of it, I guess. America. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, so that way we can water the garden easier, faster. But again, with like the whole prepper mindset, I got water. Sure, it might not be perfect. You'll have to boil it or whatever. But that way we got a bigger storage of water than what we already have. So. There's all sorts of different ways to look at it and see. It's not a money-making thing for us. It can be if you turn into a business as far as selling eggs and stuff like that, but we don't really do it for a profit. It's more of, like I said, a hobby. It serves a useful purpose, and that's really about it.
I mean, I feel like it's, again, I don't know if it's just me getting older or whatever, but
I'm with you.
You look back to your grandparents and the old farm days, and you're like, there's really something to it. There's something to being in the dirt, making your own stuff, and I feel like it's more rewarding, it's more enjoyable, it's more healthy. It
is. I think overall it's better peace of mind. You're not going to the store every day buying groceries and everything. And then, if I could have, 20 to 50 acres, put my house and shop in the middle of that, and I don't want to see anybody at all. That's ideal. I won't. It'll be a long time before I ever do that. I'm not against spending the money, but I'd have to be able to see that it is for more than one purpose. I don't want to just go buy land just to buy land, just so I can live in the middle of it and be a hermit and get even grumpier than what I am. But like if I can utilize that land, turn it into some farmland, or ideally, in a perfect world, I would like a section of my next property and then build some duplexes, and then I can have rental income, but rent that to my employees if they need somewhere to live. Then they should never be late to work. Doesn't matter if their car is broke down or not. I can literally just unlock the door or knock, but hey, buddy, the crew's ready to go. You're about to miss the train, you know. So, and it could be simple. I mean, as simple as you want. But I mean, every week they work, you just take a little bit out of their check and it pays the rent.
I mean, there's I think it's Heritage Lawncare. I just know because Colin told me when he used to work for him. But they do the H2B program.
Yeah.
And he did.
Because you got to provide housing.
Exactly. He built a shed
Mm-hmm.
and sectioned it out, whatever. But he does the same thing. Takes a little bit out of their paychecks to keep them there. But I mean, there's something to it. I mean, if you had the land, you could expand your shop.
Right.
As big as you want to make it,
Mm-hmm.
which theoretically you could take on more work then because you got more
Right.
equipment, more whatever. Then screw a duplex. You just get you a little mini apartment complex.
Yep.
Get you some workers in, and then boom, there you go.
I think
little
that
village,
with
dude.
with a fire pit and a grill in the middle and everything, a little paver patio and some cafe lights, and everybody just gets to grill out and have a good time every evening. And while we're talking about pipe dreams and everything, on that land, I would also build some sort of a small supply yard. But a lot of the local contractors need somewhere to dump their stuff. Clean fill, dirty fill, doesn't matter. And then also, that way we can share costs on big loads of mulch and different rock and stuff like that. Where you just have one machine that everybody shares and uses, and kind of like what I do when I sell the salt. I mean, it just works out really well for a lot of us. So it's just process, and of course, it's all money.
So let's jump back to business-related stuff again, since we're kind of on that track again. So I know you got the lawn care stuff, and you have other things that you're doing too.
Mhm.
How long after you started doing lawn care where you're like, okay, the lawn care is going okay,
Right.
let me break off and start doing these other things, and why did you even start doing that?
So that was because I've always been a busybody. In any given day, I'll come up with 2 to 3 different business ideas, and by the end of that day, I'll talk myself out of them. My wheels are always turning. I'll see something. Honestly, I talked to you earlier today. I said, hey, I'll be home around 3:30, whatever. From then till before I met you, I had already worked through a business plan for starting a company doing hot shot loads, using a truck or trailer, hauling stuff out like that. That's just how I'm wired. And so as I've realized over the years, I waste a lot of thought and mind power on these kinds of things, and it annoys the crap out of my wife. But she's finally, I think, coming around and learned that, hey, Justin has this wild, stupid, crazy idea, but Justin will also 9 times out of 10 talk himself out of it without wasting too much awful time. The ideas that have stuck that I've actually taken action on, with selling the salt and everything, that just made sense. We spread a lot of salt, we pushed snow, it just made sense, and we had an opportunity to start buying it. Our salt, actually, we get it from the supplier that hauls it actually out of Egypt on a big ship. Then they put it on barges, ship it up, and our salt pile is right around 6,000 tons of salt. And so we cut out the middleman. That was just from, again, networking, connection, stuff like that. So we sell salt to all the different local companies, but we also truck salt to our salt depot in Hawk Point, and we sell and load there to all the different contractors, and we load our own trucks and stuff like that. That I have a partner in that business. That was something. I didn't have the space or the machine or anything like that. I could do the marketing, the money, whatever. So he had the machine, he had the space. We built really cool hoop buildings. I say we. Sorry, Matt. I know you did all the work, buddy. But Matt put all the effort and work in and did all that, made it really nice. And this was our second year doing it, and we're again, we just kind of were winging it, but we both were on the same page. We both did well enough. We're going to just keep doing it. Same thing, honestly, with the rubbers and lube company that I started. So I've been an AMSOIL dealer forever, and we started using that a long time ago, and it's just a better product, cheaper, when you have a commercial account or a dealer account. So I started as a preferred customer because I didn't buy enough. Then when I bought enough, I got a commercial account, and I was saving a little bit more. Then my dealer was like, why don't you become a dealer underneath? It's literally structured like an MLM, okay? And so I get a kickback for any new account that I sign up, no matter what size it is. And also, if I sign up other dealers, I get a bigger kickback. And so It's an online, you just get online, you just order what you want, how you want it. It ships to you within 2-3 days, and like I said, it's the best oil that we've found hands down. And so I've been doing that for several years because it saves us money, and it just made sense to do it for the business. Well, then my mechanic down the street, he was going to retire, and we buy an insane amount of tires every single year. You know, we got 4 trailers, 9 trucks, not including personal vehicles. So I mean, we eat up a lot of miles, a lot of tires, and I was buying so many. He was actually kind enough for the last several years. He was like, hey, he's like, I'm just going to sell you the tires at cost because you get so many of them. Just pay me the amount and balance. Okay, cool. He retired, and I'm like, what am I going to do about my tires? He's like, I'll put you in touch with the supplier. And so I jumped through a couple hoops, and I had to actually, like, because they didn't want to sell to a company. They didn't want to sell to me. And I said, well, if I have an actual company selling tires and I'm already an oil dealer, if you do that, that's different. We can work with that. So that's why I created the company Rubbers and Lube, you know, tires and oil. And the idea is also to be able to sell merchandise off that, because it just could be kind of funny to see on a shirt, Rubbers and Lube.
Yeah.
The old mechanic shirts and stuff, marketing, right. But now I still can have my tires at cost, but then also selling tires to friends, family at better prices. Not trying to undercut anybody local or anything or disrupt the market, but we don't handle enough volume to impact anybody's business around here. But you can see the tire pile outside is growing. There's a lot. But it made sense because it saves money for the company, and so I got into doing that. Any of the other little companies and stuff that I started, the tactical gear, the training side stuff, like Average Joe's Tactical is what I call that. That was more or less just kind of one of those, it's my biggest, most fun hobby. It's the only hobby that I have. And so I was getting annoyed because there's so many options for everything in this world, right? And so when you're trying to build a rifle or find what gear that you want or anything like that, it's almost impossible to make a decision. You finally just go with whatever you read or see the most online, right? You want some water?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let me grab you some water.
I've been stopped drinking energy drinks.
You did
I've
stop?
been drinking water, yeah. So it's like, now I feel like my body's like, oh, we need water. We need more water. I've drank more water, dude, I kid you not, in the last 2 days than probably the last 6 months combined.
That's not bad.
I was drinking 2-3 G Fuels a day.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, every day. No days off.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. So Average Joe's.
So that was just kind of like to help other guys that are getting started, getting into it. I don't claim to be a professional. I'm not. I would say that my level of training has excelled in the last year or so of taking the classes and everything. But
with Tim?
The what?
Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then just basically trying to help new guys getting into the hobby. Hey, this is what we've done. This is what we've had. A lot of different reviews and stuff like that. A great resource for that is my friend Brian. He has High Ground Media, and he does reviews on everything, all sorts of gear. And so it just goes hand in hand with, you know, and I make a little bit of money off that, but it's not. I don't worry about the profit or the income or anything like that. That's just more for fun and everything, just to help other people. The Lawncare, the professional lawn care network that I started, that was probably 6 years ago. So my goal there was just to bring all the local guys in St. Louis together. It was a paid membership type of thing when we had the website, but there were too many issues, and so I kind of hung that up. And now it really is just like a free Facebook group for St. Louis owners. But everybody in there is the decision maker. Everybody's been vetted. It's all legitimate company owners that are in there, and we got over 150 different guys in there together. So like different dealers around the area are like, hey, can we get in this group? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind that you're in there promoting and spamming your stuff, but keep it to like 1 or 2 posts a week. And also if you can offer a special deal or whatever. When I had more time back a long time ago, I was actually, I would say, halfway through getting through all the steps, and the goal was to have health insurance, do a group healthcare health insurance buy through a big actual company. But that, like everything else in my life, it got put on the back burner.
So I was thinking about that whenever I was like, dude, why is there not a union for like lawn care and landscaping guys?
So the word union has like this, people either love unions or they hate unions. And I've worked union and non-union both in the automotive industry and also in construction. So I've seen both sides. And so my opinion is that unions are a necessary evil to keep some form of balance. Unions can be good, but in certain terms, they also can be bad. When I started the whole networking group and everything, it was kind of my goal. I wanted to avoid calling it a lawn care union just because of that stigma. Right. So what I call it more like an alliance, or better stated, a network. But it's the same thing. Like, hey, you got 90% of your owners out here charging a minimum of $50, and you got a couple guys that are legit, that they don't know any better. They don't fully understand their numbers, not because they're stupid, just because they haven't taken the time. They don't really know that how bad it impacts them, but they're still cutting grass for $25. If they knew that they were leaving that much money on the table, people are always scared to raise their prices and stuff like that, and I get that. But at the same time, if you're not within a certain range of what most of the other competition is, then you're going to stand out in a good way or a bad way. But even then, if you're stupid busy because you're the cheapest guy on the block, how long is that going to last for you? You're only cutting for $25. Yeah, you might be full. Everybody else has to call all the rest of us. But while you're out there working, 1,000,000 hours a week for the same amount of money that my guys are working 40 hours a week, you know what I mean? So it's just more work smarter, not harder, I guess.
I feel like too. So Dylan actually just lost the Hardys.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've drove by and seen it lately.
Well, that was probably one of the management company deals. I don't. Really
it looks awful.
I don't really care for those type of.
It looks terrible, and Dylan was only charging him $60 a cut.
Right.
So I'm like, who is coming in here and what are they saying, $40? Well,
right.
You're getting a $40 cut. I'll never forget the very first time I came in here to fill out the paperwork or whatever to get hired on. You were answering a phone call for somebody who wanted lawn service, and you told them the prices, and they were like, oh, that's kind of expensive. And you're like, I'm going to tell you right now, we're never going to be your cheapest option.
Yep.
But we're going to be your best option.
I still use that line today.
Yeah. And I mean, it's true. You literally get what you pay for.
Yeah. And I can honestly admit we're one of the higher priced companies around, but we're also one of the most longest established ones. We are the highest, most rated, reviewed around here. And I'm not like bragging, but that comes with, a price. People call us not to price shop. They call us because they heard that we do good work. They know that we're fair. They know that we're honest. They know that we have an automated process system for invoices. Like literally one call to set up service, and I can't even tell you. There's probably over 100 customers that I've never talked to, I've never met, have no idea where they live or what they look like or anything like that. Like we'll be out at dinner, and I might have like one of my company hats on, and somebody come back, oh, you work for that company? We love you guys. You guys have done our yard for years. And like I'm kind of at a loss because like I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the owner, but then also like, I'm sorry, that must be another crew that does your yard. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know who you are or where you live, but thanks so much for your money, But yeah, I mean, you get what you pay for. Now you can price yourself out, and so I think on the landscape side of it, still will come true with like the lawn care stuff. But like people are always like, hey, I'm booked out for 8 weeks, or I can't sell work to save my life. You need to find that balance. If you can't sell work to save your life, you're either not recognized well enough, you're not established enough, or your prices are way off, whether they're too low and you scare somebody, or they're too high and they just don't want to spend that money. And if you got work booked out for 8 months or more, or a crazy amount of time, chances are you're probably underselling, you're underpricing a lot of your stuff. Like my sweet spot, if I can stay anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks out on landscape, we get enough leads and calls every single day where if that maintains and I can stay 3 to 6 weeks out on landscape work, that's my sweet spot. I love that. And then our close rate, I don't have exact numbers again, but I would say we close 75% of the quotes that we.
That's pretty good.
But that again, people call us because they're like, hey, we want you to do your There was, I guess, 2 weeks ago, we finished up a landscape job, and I always ask people for their honest review, and then I'm always curious, hey, how'd you find our company, And I swear, I wish I could have recorded it. It would have been awesome, just for marketing. But she's like, honestly, she's like, I see you posting on Facebook all the time. She knew me as Mayor Cheese. She didn't even know my real name. She's like, I see you, Mayor Cheese, online all the time. You're always helping people. I also then saw you share a post and that you own a lawn care company. And she's like, I thought to myself then, if this guy has a landscape company, and if I ever need landscaping, I'm going to hire him. I was like, so basically me just trolling on Facebook landed this land? She's like, absolutely. She's like, I love your content. She's like, because I do try to help people. And like, I know we're rabbit trails and everything like that, but when you're marketing and you're posting online, you can't just push your services and your company and stuff like that. You have to add value and stuff like that. People want to scroll through and they want to see something funny or something inspiring or motivational or whatever. And you still need to post, hey, we do lawn care. But 9 times out of 10, if you hop onto a post and you offer some insight that somebody finds valuable, that's going to click. And you keep doing that consistently, and then they're going to be like, hey, this guy, you can build a trust. They trust you now, even though they've never met you, they've never needed your services. And just like her, she's like, hey, I need a landscape job done now. I want to call this guy because, in the past, he's been very helpful and very honest and troll-like.
Right. Dude, that's the importance. So when I did the podcast with Matt, me and him talked about that for a minute, but it's like the importance of social media that people don't understand. And it's like you're saying, don't just get on there and push your services or whatever, but...
That's boring.
Like, be interactive.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many people I've met, literally just from, whenever I first started my company, I just went on Facebook and I literally just added anybody, and I'll be honest with you, I looked at profile pictures, and if it looked like you had money or like you looked nice or professional, I'm adding you. So it's like targeting demographic, you know? So, but the thing is like just hitting like button on somebody's status, leaving a heart, whatever, or commenting on people's stuff. I've met so many people and just had gotten so much more interaction on my own content from doing that to other people.
Yeah.
And it's like what you were saying with every time I see you on Facebook, I'm looking for a lawn care company, or I'm looking for a land or paint, whatever company you want to insert. You go into the comments, I don't even look at those because it's going to have 7,000 companies being tagged by 8,000 people.
Yes.
It's like you might as well not even waste your time. But that being said, when you're interacting with all these people and you're online and people see you're doing your thing or whatever, that holds more weight whenever 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people are tagging your company on the thing, and that lady goes, oh yeah, this guy here did all this other stuff. I'm going to pick his company over the 47 other guys that are here.
And the other thing is, 90% of the comments from owners themselves are, hey, send me a PM, we can help you. They might tag their company or they might leave their phone number, but it's a very basic, very vague, it's not engaging. It's not an engaging comment. So any time that I'm ever tagged, I always try to, the people that tagged me, I'll reply to their comment, thank you so much for the tag. And when I leave my comment, I always put in there, we would love to give you a no obligation quote, contact us, our phone number, or I put my website, so that pops up the thumbnail and it separates my comment from the rest. But I always put on there, we appreciate your consideration. It just take a little bit extra time, write a professional looking sounding comment showing that you actually care and are engaged. I'm not going to hop on there and be like, hey, send me a PM. That's kind of unprofessional. I get it. If they want you, they'll send a message or whatever. But make it easy for them to contact you. Right. It's just the people that are seen the most and are the most successful are going to be the ones that are called the most. I think that's kind of where we're at.
And you got a peacock kind of. So you got to stand out.
Yeah.
What's going to...
Exactly.
Like you said, everybody's saying PM me, PM me.
Yeah, and so I try to also include a link depending on... I'm kind of judgy online. Look, like you said, looking at their profile picture, who posted it. If it's something that I want, or especially if it's a landscape thing and not just a yard job, I'll even put a link to my YouTube video, because we got the YouTube promo videos and everything. So it goes to my YouTube channel. They can watch it. It plays automatically in the comments section. We're the only ones that we're the only ones that post or has the YouTube promo videos that I'm aware of. I mean, there might be a couple other guys, but I haven't seen them yet. But I mean, just something to kind of stand out, you know. I bought one of those inflatable dinosaur costumes, and I was gonna get out there and take a couple videos with that on the stand-on mower. Who's not gonna hire a dinosaur on a lawnmower?
Yeah.
You know,
It's hilarious.
it is. It's pretty funny.
I mean,
And that's the thing. Like, we're talking about, like, you know, strategic planning and how to do stuff like that. But then also on the flip side of that, there's no rhyme or reason to the algorithm or marketing or anything like that, because from my personal page, I posted that little video of that tiny bunny running around on my shoulders. Dude, that thing, I got over 4,000 different likes and reactions on that thing, and that's the highest post that I've seen engagement wise. And I had so many new followers. Now a lot of them are kind of foreign, so I'm like, great, now I got all these extra spammers and scammers and everything else, but like it's being shared, it's being liked. Like, you can plan out the coolest, best, most perfect professional marketing post, and it will flop. And then you post a video of one of your employees slipping in some dog poop or something, and it's going to go viral.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's nuts.
That's the algorithm, though. It knows what people, because I mean, I post a lot on Facebook, so, and like, I watch my stuff, I watch my engagement, I know what's going on. So like, if I post something, I know that either A, it's being throttled,
Right.
Like, Facebook's not showing it, because everybody has, like, for me, example, I have like 2,000 friends or whatever. You know how many friends my friends have? That's all on their feed. So it's gonna pick and choose from their friends what's gonna show up on their timeline. So like, you got the bunny post. Facebook's like, oh shit, bunnies. People love bunnies. Let's throw this on everybody, all of his friends' feed. So, and I mean, Lawncare. I mean, it's kind of a niche fucking thing. Like, you're either into lawns or you're not. So like, you're gonna get fed that stuff. But like you're saying, again, slipping in dog shit, that's funny.
Yep.
So it's going to shove it to more people. It's just the way, you kind of got to know how to work. You got to know how to game the system.
I'm going to have text Chris to follow some dog poop and have Tyler record him.
Yeah, literally. Oh, dude, I'm still waiting for you. I mean, I want you to release that one video you sent me. That is hilarious.
Oh no, which
That's
one?
hilarious.
Oh yes,
With
yes,
the dog
yes,
leash,
with the
dude.
dog. Oh, I do need to do that, because I think that would get some engagement too.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
and I would post it.
Just crop out the logo.
I don't even care about the logo. Sorry, Jared. I would just crop out his face, because it's not so much that like I'm making fun of him and I don't want to embarrass him. Like, I would never say who it is or anything like that. But like, if I could crop it just right and get it, like, just, I don't know, like his, like, just that thought process in that moment, just it was entertaining. That's for sure.
After this, I want you to tell me who it is, because I think I know who.
I'll tell you.
I think I know who it is. What time is it right now?
Looks like 5:03.
Oh, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody messaged me, and I posted something on my Snapchat. There was one of Jared's yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, this yard sucks. And he messaged me, and he's like, something about Himmel. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, I was like, are you working for Jared? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what, really? Okay. And then, like, now that I'm looking back at that video, I'm like, is this that dude that you sent me a video of? Because if so, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I could see him doing that.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's funny. I mean, okay, so you just sent me, let's talk about that for a second for people who are in lawn care, because, I mean, I feel like we were pretty good when we were here.
Right.
There was a couple broken windows.
Yeah.
But, like, that's something that is a huge issue, I feel like, in, I guess, really any manual labor industry where you have laborers, but just breaking stuff.
Right.
Like, not paying attention to what you're doing.
Yep.
I've only, luckily, I think I broke one window when I was working with you. I mean, they can't prove that it was me.
Sure.
I don't think I did, but, well, I'll take the blame. It was at that stupid community home place.
Yeah.
God, I hated that place. And then I broke one window. Oh, I did break that trimmer. I remember I broke that trimmer, and then I called you, and you're like, dude, are you serious? And I come back to the lot, and you have a brand new trimmer that you just bought right before I broke that one. I had it in the back of the zero turn, and I pulled up on the thing, and it just bent it right in half.
Yep. And then
Again, me not paying attention.
around that same time is when Cameron backed over the brand new BR600 blower too.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, so again, it's people just not paying attention.
It
But
is.
I've been pretty good. I think I broke one window with Dylan. That was me being lazy. I ran over a dog toy. After I ran over like 3 of them, he sent me the video, and he's like, dude, come on.
That's funny.
Yeah, chucked it right at the window and just shattered his like little. It was a small little kitchen window
Right.
too. But so you just sent me that picture last week. You know of the unfortunate demise of one of your vehicles. So like, how do you try to avoid that? How do you?
So, I tell my customers and I tell my guys, it's not what happened, it's how you handle what happened, right? So, as soon as something damaged, I want pictures, I want to know immediately. I want to be the one that tells the customer. I don't want the customer to come home or the guys to finish the job, even though the guys might have let me know and they load up and they go to the next one. In the customer's perspective, they're trying to hide breaking that door, that window, mowing that dog lead, whatever. So it's important for me, the number one thing is to know and let them know, hey, we will take care of it. On our service agreement side, it actually states in there, and they sign agreeing to allow us to remedy the fix the situation. That keeps somebody from having a window replaced by a professional company that's going to not overcharge, but charge more than what we could have it done, still professionally. Back to the networking thing, I have used the same glass guy for freaking years, forever. Like, I'm pretty sure like he sends me a gift box every Christmas because we just give him so much business with glass. But it's gonna happen, and I tell everybody the same thing. It's gonna happen. I mean, think of the probability, the stats, and all that. How much glass do we go around with? Multiple mowers and spinning blades and obstacles and everything else, and we come out every week. Maybe, honestly, we probably break a window maybe once or twice a month, if that. Okay,
It seems like a lot, but you're cutting a lot of accounts.
I was just saying, but
Yeah.
think about the number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then, there's processes in place. Like, we always kind of investigate it. If there's cameras in the video, of course, we know exactly what happened. And that's the thing, like, and I tell the guys all the time, assume everybody has a camera. Like, I don't care if you think you can get away with it. The neighbor in the backyard probably has a camera. They're going to tell so honesty is the best policy. And I've never had problems with guys doing damage and trying to hide it or skirt away or whatever. Now, in our employee handbook that we redesigned a couple months ago, all the current guys agreed to it, and all new guys are going to have to agree to it. But the most fair way to handle damage is they get 3 strikes and they're out on damages. If they would like to skip, if they don't want to take a strike so they can stay safer with their employment, okay, then they can opt to do a cost share on the damage replacement or whatever, okay? And that cost share is going to be evenly split between that crew and the company. So typically it's a 2-man crew plus the company. So if it's a $100 window that needs to be fixed, it's going to be $100 divided by 3, okay? Now, if they don't want to do that, or if it's too much, they don't want to have to pay that, or if they want to argue and they go, oh, it wasn't us, it was already done. Now that puts me in a difficult spot, but most of the time it's pretty clear cut, easy to figure out. Then they can take a strike. That's fine. It's their choice. I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I'm not forcing them to pay for it. It's an option. But also I have to keep them honest and accountable and also safe. We just can't keep breaking things.
Right.
And so they have options. And so I've never had anybody actually take an actual strike. But also most of these windows and doors and stuff, a couple $100, and that's it. It's not a big deal. I also noticed that all new guys also get a freebie. I'm not going to just like right off the gate, like, oh, he broke out. The guy was here 2 days, he broke a window, and the guy he was riding with said, well, you're going to have to pay for a third of that. He got super mad. He's like, I'm not paying for nothing. This is stupid. I didn't even do it. So I talked him through the process and said, hey, I didn't go over everything with you. I'm going to give you a freebie. Well, that started the whole thing of, hey, we need to have a freebie for all these guys also, just before, one, if they don't know and I failed to tell them or whatever, but then two, but again, this within the last couple months is a new process policy for us, so we're just working through that.
How the hell did you come up with this? Because this is pretty smart.
Honestly, man, everything that I've come up with is like what you were saying before. You look around, you take the good, you leave the bad. Honestly, it's all the same thing. It's what makes the most sense for the company while being as fair as possible to the employee. And so at the end of the day, I want everybody to be happy. Yeah, it sucks. We all three got to split this cost on this glass, but it's fair. Not one person has to do it, and I do it per crew because you are your brother's keeper. You have to keep each other. So you know, if the guy on the mower is watching the guy on the trimmer walk the wrong way, throwing rocks to the glass, hey dude, you go the other way, do something different. So it's literally fake it till you make it. It's not like I read some books and like, oh man, I honestly just kind of was like, hey, we have a problem, how can we fix it? And that's the solution I came up with for right now.
See, this is why I like talking to you, because that's a great idea, and I'll probably steal that later on down the line.
You're welcome to steal it.
But like,
you're welcome to steal it.
It also, it's good because, like you said, it keeps them accountable. So most accidents, honestly, are avoidable if you're paying attention to what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you're doing your job.
Absolutely. It's because nine times out of 10, it's just because there's no common sense or you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting with your lady. You're on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You're distracted.
So now, instead of like you're saying, yeah, it's a couple $100 window, but people got to think if you're charging $50 a cut and someone smashes a window out, it's $150. You just lost 3 cuts on
Right.
top of the labor and the fuel and
Yes.
everything else. So now you have this 3-strike policy. It kind of keeps guys a little more cognizant of what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, they know that they're going to be financially responsible for it. They could be if they choose that option. Or if they don't choose that option, they know that they're just one step closer to possibly losing their job just because it's all... Now, if it was unintentional, if it was a complete accident, I'm not going to put that on the guys or whatever. But if it's something that could have been avoided, absolutely, this is how we're going to handle it. So that's just kind of part of it.
With that being said, hills and mowers, for the love of God, people, if you don't think you can take a hill, just area trim it out.
Yes.
Just area. It takes like 2 minutes,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
It's so much better than getting the mower stuck. I hate having to go get the ratchet strap, strap it to another mower, pull the guy out. Like, dude, we just wasted. We could have finished this yard and went to another one.
Yep.
That aggravates me more than you getting it stuck. But I mean, think about just rolling down a hill and blasting through somebody's fence, man.
That wood fence that happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a special wood fence. That actually we had to go quite a bit on a road trip to go get that special. I don't remember what it was. It was like Eastern red cedar, whatever. It was. You couldn't just go to the store and buy the cedar wood. It was. It had to be, and it had to be from the same sawmill, and like it was a mess. It literally took a month to make that repair.
Oh my God.
It was ridiculous.
They probably could have area trimmed out, huh?
Oh, it should have been area trimmed. Most of the time it gets area trimmed, but it wasn't the normal crew, and they were cocky and thought that they could do it. So, you know.
I mean, so again, Dylan, he's got this damn water fabrication shop in O'Fallon, and we've got stuck there, dude. I mean, the first couple times we went, it's miserable. But I was there last week with them, and Dustin goes, yeah, I get stuck here like once a week. He's like, I know I can't do it, but I just try anyways, because you know sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. I'm like, dude.
Are you feeling lucky, punk?
Yeah, literally. That's what it got. It's like, come on, man. And then today I told Dylan, we were doing that yard. It started raining, and it was a big yard. And I'm like, yeah, do whatever. I was like, just don't get stuck. And then we're like 75% of the way done. It wasn't so bad, but he calls me, and I'm on the mower. I can hear it ring, you know, and I don't know who it is. So, but I hadn't seen him in a second.
Right.
I was like, that's fucking Dylan.
Oh, no.
And so I'm waiting, and then I let it ring, and he calls, and it rings again. I'm like, dude, I pull my phone out of my pocket, and it's like Dylan. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I need you to go get this strap from the truck. I was like, dude, you jackass. I literally told you don't get stuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, even, you know, I guess maybe it's like a character trait that people have. They're just like, I want to feel the rush of taking the risk, man. You know? Yeah. Man. So there's a lot. I mean, I say I don't like cutting grass, but sometimes it's fun. You know?
It is. It you know, I enjoy, you know, I'm lazy, so I don't like trimming. I don't like blowing. Give me on a zero turn.
56 hours in the last 2 weeks.
That is nuts. That is nuts.
I trimmed for 6 hours yesterday. Straight at that apartment complex.
If I put my earbuds in, man, I get some music, you know, some blues or something like that, and just take off on a zero-turn mower, I'd be happy for a couple hours. But to do it day in, day out, I mean, I did do that for a lot of years. It's just now that I know that there's so much out there in life besides riding on a zero-turn mower, I just am not, you know. But
Judas and Blues, don't watch this episode. Stay on the mower and stay on the trimmer.
Yes, and don't break the glass.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if I didn't have podcasts, like that's the one thing I like about cutting grass. At least I can throw in a podcast and I can be learning while I'm cutting, because then I don't feel like I'm entirely wasting my time. Like I know
you're making money at the same time you're leveling up.
Right.
You know, you listen to a podcast. You know, you listen to the same podcast by the same person for 10 years, but if they say one thing that clicks and changes your life, that was worth it. You know, I mean, it's no matter, you can get there's a lot of other podcasts and stuff that like either I've been on or that I've listened to in the past, and like they're all great. There's none of them that have ever been bad. It's just, what do you take away from that, and is it engaging enough to stick around? And so if not, you hop around, or if so, then you but just like I was telling you earlier, I feel bad because I haven't made it a priority to take the time to get back into listening to podcasts and getting caught up on everybody's shows and stuff. It's just, you know, it was easier when I was a GM. I should put my earbuds in underneath my safety, ear protection. None of the managers knew that I was sitting there, like, I was sitting there bobbing my head, sitting on a charger one day, and the boss comes up and like, "You listening to something?" I'm like, absolutely not. I'm just feeling the beat, you know? I almost got caught, but I didn't.
Yeah. When I worked at Nike on the line, we had the same thing. You could wear the over ear, but you had to wear protection, but no music was allowed.
Right.
Bro, for the first like couple months, I just like abided by the rules.
Yep.
But finally I was like, dude, I can literally not take standing on this line for 10 hours a day with nothing but my thoughts.
Yep.
And when I started doing that, I was like, bro, people that work in factories for their entire life on these lines, I was like, you got to be a robot, dude. How do you do it?
Props to them. I was on the line for a few years at GM, but most of my time was spent on a forklift or in paint, and that was a super gravy job. And so, but to be at the same job on the line till you retire, that it takes a special kind of person to do anything in life, but that's a special kind of person.
Dude, I don't get it. And Cora's the same way as, like, because she listens to my shit all the time, too.
Yep.
Like, oh, you know, Kyle's got another idea. Got another idea. But, and then I'm always on to one thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. But it's like, I'm kind of, okay, what can I learn here? And also, like, the environment. Like, when I reached out to the regional manager with my concerns or whatever, and, you know, this is what I wanted, da-da-da-da, and then he responds back a certain way, okay, well, right there I already know, I don't need to work here anymore, because this company isn't going to facilitate or offer me what I need to grow, and they don't really care. So, like, why do I waste my time? I'm just always, there was a guy I worked with at Schnucks. He was an old guy. He was probably like 2 or 3 years away from retirement when he came there. But he said something that will stick with me forever. He said, everything in life is replaceable. If something is not making you happy, change it. And I believe this guy because he had 5 wives. He had been divorced like 5 times. So he was serious.
He was living it.
He was living what he was saying.
Wow.
And I took that to heart. It was like, life is too short to be miserable.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if...
Do you remember Parking Lot Bob?
Yes.
And he had the number of wives on his license plate.
I do not know that.
Parking Lot Bob would drive around the parking lot in his car, and he would change cars, but the license plates would always kind of keep changing. When I was there, it started on number 4, and then when I left, it was already on number 6. And so I asked, it was his grandson, I forgot what his name was, but I asked the grandson, like, hey, is this the number of cars? He's like, no, that's how many wives he's had. Every time he has a new wife, he gets a new license plate.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Parking Lot Bob was a legend, man.
Yeah, I remember Parking Lot Bob. I kind of forgot about him. Man, good old days in high school. That's been a long time now, dude.
Take us back.
For real. Sometimes I think that though, but then I'll like realistically think about restarting or like going back, and I'm like, I don't know.
If we could go back to high school, knowing then what we know now.
Maybe.
But
even then, dude, I got my kids, man. I tell my kids all the time, no matter how many lifetimes I could live, I feel like I would always want my kids that I have right now.
If you bring a family into it, then yes, I would not want to give up my wife for my kids. But if that's not an equation, then I mean, who knows where we would be?
100%.
That's where everybody talks about the red pill, the blue pill. You know, like you can't go back and change. So you can think about it, but I wouldn't let it consume you or dwell on it. You got to just, well, if this is how I'm feeling now, what do I need to do now to where when I look back, hey, when I first thought this, what have I done and improved and built on to where now you've leveled up even more than what you would have anyways. I was thinking about this. Somebody said something and it kind of clicked with me. Like when you first start something, business or hobby, whatever, there's always going to be slower progress. And then once you start, it's like a snowball. Once it starts going downhill, it just picks up so much more momentum. It's bigger, it's heavier, it's faster. And so I kind of feel like with the lawn care business, it's kind of where we're at. You had the slow start, started baby steps, and now we're just kind of snowballing, and now it's just kind of almost full steam ahead. Like, what do we need to do next, and how do we need to do it wisely so we can grow and be more profitable?
Yeah, it's like the exponential growth thing. They always say the first million's the hardest to make.
Yeah.
It's like, once you get the pattern down, once you get the plan
once
down,
you got the first million, then you can use that. You got $1 million now to invest or build or do what you want. When you started with 1,000, you're limited.
Yeah. So I made that post the other day. If you don't have capital, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If you don't got capital, it don't matter what's going on in your head.
Yep.
That's where networking comes in.
Oh yeah.
And the knowledge.
For sure.
Because like you're saying, if you meet a guy who knows something, maybe you don't know much about it, but you got whatever,
right?
And you build a partnership with that. Okay, well, now you can do something.
Not just knowledge though, because there is bad knowledge. So correct knowledge, and then that slingshots into the whole luck, laboring under correct knowledge. That's a big thing.
Also, like I feel like you do need some kind of actionable experience. Like just knowing about something isn't the same as like actually doing
it and living it.
Yes, because you learn a lot from doing.
Yeah.
Like you can read all the books you want, but
well, that's what I'm saying. That's how this whole thing started. Was literally just doing it. Like I didn't read any business books, took no business classes, didn't even. When I grew up, I wanted to be a cop, man. Like I didn't grow up like I want to be a small business owner, Like my dad was a small business owner. He built a lot of houses around here, but never once crossed my mind like, oh, I want to work for myself one day. Found myself here and I love it and I want to stay here. So now I got to do what I need to do to be able to stay here and not make any changes or any differences or anything else.
I would say the biggest thing with working for yourself, or even if you could find a way, depending on the size, your responsibilities or whatever you got to pay for, but the best thing is freedom. The freedom to do what you want. You're not answering really to anybody besides yourself. I mean, yeah, you got employees, you got all customers, whatever, but still at the end of the day, I feel like it's just better to work for yourself.
I still have, I would say, the same amount of stress, but the stress is different. This is my stress. I create this. I've either sold too much work, or I have not hired enough people, or I don't have enough backup equipment, whatever that might be. It's my stress that stems from me, and I much rather would deal with that stress than the stress of having to work 7 days a week in a factory. What the freedom is, everybody's like, oh, the money's the motivation, and money does allow for freedom. I get that, but at the same time, if you have a good work, personal balance, whatever, you still can have the freedom, and the freedom is what I love and what I want to maintain. Like I said, I don't have to be the next lawn care millionaire. I just want to stay comfortable where I've been and have the same freedom and everything else.
All right, I think that's a good spot to end on.
I like it.
This was good.
I like it.
This was good.
I had fun.
We need to do this again.
We could do it. Dude, you got to get the gap. I'll talk to you about anything any day.
Yeah. Next time I do, I mean, if you want to put that shit out there, we could definitely do a podcast.
That's fine.
On it. I mean, if
well,
not,
what I can do is we can do that, and maybe I might try to spin that into like my coaching consulting, and be like, hey, this is what I've learned. This is why I'm sharing this. This is, I'm turning it into something that I'm charging for. But here's an overview of like what we've created with employee handbooks, processes, policies, service agreements. We use Yard Book. There's other options, but there's been several people actually pay me good money to help them set up and run and utilize their Yard Book, and they'll call me back a couple weeks, couple months later, like, dude, this is amazing. Like, I put Eddie onto Yard Book, and the other day he's like, dude, I don't know why I went so long without Yard Book. He's like, you told me about this for years, and I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to change. Like, everybody's afraid of change no matter what it is, work or personal, but he finally did it, and he's like, dude, this is amazing. Yeah, it's awesome.
I've been trying to get Dylan on Yard Book since I left here, basically. It's just better. It's just better.
It makes sense. You
Yeah.
can do anything with it.
Yeah, it's the best. I mean,
Yard book, we expect t-shirts.
yeah, for real. No, but I mean, it all comes down to efficiency. That's the thing too. It's like I'll tell people stuff. It's like, dude, I'm not just telling you shit to tell you shit. Like, if I'm saying something to you, it's because there's merit behind it. Like, there's a reason, there's a
Right.
purpose behind it. Like, I wouldn't come to you and say, hey, get yard book if it didn't work.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to lead you
You've
down
seen it
intentionally. I'm not going to lead you down the wrong path.
When you were here, were we transitioning into yard book?
No,
or
you
have
had
we
yard
already
book,
been?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it's got new features and all the cool
No,
new
I'm
shit,
just
but-
saying it wasn't too much before you were here with us. Then when we made the transition, we used to have pen and paper all the time, and then somebody loses a paper or if it gets thrown out the window or that whole day's you got to backtrack your steps. No fun.
Yeah. I like just even pulling up to a yard, click, done.
Yep.
Charge customer, done. We're done. Like,
Done and done.
it's the best.
Cool.
All right,
Thank you.
this is good.
I had fun.
Yeah,
We'll do it again.
yeah, for sure. If I can pencil you in sometime, you know. I mean,
we'll-
I'm free, but
we'll-
you on the other hand,
Yeah. We'll do it again, and we can actually write out stuff. I'll make sure we got bottles of water and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and we just do it.
yeah. Because when I talked to Matt, he said he was like, yeah, I'd like to get Justin on the podcast. He's like, but between my schedule and his schedule, he's like, he can never pencil anything in. I was like, yeah, I know. He's a busy dude.
I would love to be on there. I hadn't said anything to him yet because I figured he was getting bombarded and like it.
He is, but I mean, he's got certain people that he would rather.
No, I understand it. I didn't want to be like I feel like the kid back in the day in school that like invites himself to the birthday party.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
invite myself onto theirs. So
Yeah.
when he's ready and asks me, then I'm happy to do it. And it's no big deal. I don't care when I do it. I figured he's just really busy with it, and my number will come up next
Dude,
sometime.
he's been doing. I mean, I've been following him. It's funny. I just randomly. I think he added me. I don't know how it happened, but I've been watching him ever since. Like, dude, he's been doing some good stuff.
I've known him for several years. They're actually customers of ours, and just doing business or even just chit-chatting. Most of the time, of course, business owners are going to talk about business and complain about the complaints and stuff like that. But like, just everything that he does, I mean, she's like the networking queen, you know. So it works out really well to be able to kind of use each other as a sounding board and feed off each other, and like, it's kind of cool seeing the steps that he's taken to do different things. Like, I don't want to ever like write a book or anything like that.
Right.
But like, it's cool to see the processes. You can see it on different people, strangers online, but you don't really know what it took to get there. Like, I know him from years ago when he wasn't going to write a book, when he wasn't going to be a speaker, and like that's all evolved. And seeing that evolve over years, like it wasn't a very long time. It wasn't a short period of years, and now like, wow, that's what I'm talking about. That snowball. You just once you gain momentum, you're just gone.
And then now, if you want to do that, guess what? You got a mentor out there who's already spent the years doing it. So
There you
now
go.
it only takes you
Yes.
6 months instead of 3 years.
That's the whole thing in networking.
Yep,
The
yep.
beauty of
It's
networking.
the best.
Awesome.
All right, we'll end it on that.
Okay.